Welcome to Oprah Motivate, where truth meets transformation and where your breakthrough begins. Focus on yourself and shock everyone. If you found this video, it's not an accident. You didn't stumble here by chance. Something deep within you, something quiet but powerful, is waking up. You're tired of being overlooked, tired of being drained, tired of giving your all to people who give you half. You're tired of sitting quietly while the world passes you by, tired of performing for approval that never comes. Tired of shrinking to make others comfortable, while your soul suffocates. This isn't just motivation. This isn't about hype. This is about you remembering who you are. Because the world doesn't change when you talk louder. It changes when you listen to yourself, when you turn inward, and when you start focusing on the one person who has never left you. The truth is, when you focus on yourself, quietly, powerfully, intentionally, you don't just grow. You become unrecognizable. You don't chase people. You don't beg for attention. You don't announce every step. You show up one day, transformed. And that's when the world goes quiet, because they never saw you coming. The distraction trap, how the world keeps you small. Let's talk about why it's been so hard to focus on yourself. Because it's not just laziness. It's not because you don't care. It's because the world has been working against your focus since day one. You've been taught to care more about being liked than being real. To care more about who's watching than who you're becoming. To care more about them than... This is what I call the distraction trap. And it's everywhere. Mobile phone distraction in the age of comparison. Let's start with the obvious one. Social media. You open your phone to relax, but what you're really doing is comparing. You see someone post a win, and suddenly your progress feels like failure. You see someone traveling, and your quiet routine feels like stagnation. You see someone in love, and your singleness starts to feel like loneliness. What you don't see is the behind the scenes. You don't see the arguments, the debt, the doubt, the doubt. You don't see that they're just as lost, just as human, just as afraid. But you let their highlight reel rewrite the story of your worth. And that's exactly what the world wants. A distracted version of you. Because a distracted person doesn't create. A distracted person doesn't confront their pain. A distracted person doesn't grow. They scroll. They compare, they numb, and slowly they forget who they are. Downcast face with sweat, distraction, and relationships. Then there are the relationships. Not just romantic ones, all of them. Friends, family, situationships, work connections. You've been conditioned to believe that love equals sacrifice. That to be worthy, you must be available. That if you don't answer right away, they'll leave. That if you don't show up every time they ask, you'll be replaced. So you abandon your goals to be there for people who wouldn't show up for you in return. You silence your voice so theirs can be louder. You make space for their emotions, but ignore your own. And the world applauds it, because you're being a loyal, because you're being a kind, because you're being a selfless. But what you're really being is exhausted, invisible, forgotten, by everyone, including yourself. Brain distraction by the past and the future. There's another form of distraction that's more subtle and more dangerous. It's the voice in your head that says, you should be further by now. You messed up too much to fix it now. It's too late. You're not good enough. That voice lives in the past. It replays old pain like a loop you can't turn. Or it jumps ahead to the future, showing you every possible way things could go wrong. And in the process, it steals your power in the only place power exists. The present moment. Thought balloons. So what happens when you're distracted?
Here's the raw truth. You forget your gifts. You ignore your healing. You lose time. You settle. You shrink. You play small so other people feel big. You spend your life reacting to everything around you, instead of creating what's inside of you, and that's the real tragedy.
Hammer the work behind the scenes, the world claps when the results show up. But they don't see what you did in the dark. They don't see the hours you spent training alone. They don't see the days you woke up with no motivation, but moved anyway. They don't see the sacrifices, the therapy,
the self-doubt you had to destroy. They only see the glow-up, the comeback, the transformation, and they'll say, you changed. No, you focused. And that changed everything. Because here's the truth, success doesn't come from doing everything.
It comes from doing the right things, over and over again. You don't need more motivation, you need focus. You don't need more support, you need discipline. You don't need more attention. You don't need more attention. You need self-respect. The right kind of focus is ruthless. It doesn't wait for inspiration.
It works with or without applause. It commits, not for likes, but for legacy. Person Female Eliminate to Elevate Focus isn't just about what you do. It's about what you stop doing. If you want to rise, you need to let go of people who drain you, habits that numb you, conversations that go nowhere, comparisons that cloud your self-worth, goals that aren't even yours. You need to subtract before you multiply. You need to prune before you bloom. Let's be real. Some people were never meant to come with you. They liked the unfocused version of you, the version who doubted yourself. The video.
The version who played small to keep them comfortable. The version who needed them. But this focused version of you? The one who values peace over popularity? The one who's not begging to be invited anymore? The one who's unapologetically building in silence? They won't like that version. And that's okay. Let them go. Let it all fall away, because what's real will remain, and what's meant for you will rise with you. Rocket Daily Focus. The silent weapon hears what no one tells you. Focus is not one big decision. It's 1,000 tiny ones, made in silence, every day. Silence.
It's drinking water instead of scrolling, saying no to one more episode because your future self needs sleep, choosing the gym over gossip, reading a chapter instead of texting back, meditating instead of reacting, being okay with not being understood because your peace matters more.
Each small act of focus becomes a brick, and brick by brick, you build a life that's too strong to shake. Direct hit, you're not behind. You're distracted. If you feel lost, scattered, like you've wasted time, breathe. You're not behind. You're just distracted.
The moment you choose yourself with full intensity, the game changes. You start catching momentum. You start healing faster. You start seeing your potential clearly. And what felt like years of delay becomes fuel for your fire.
Because once you focus, truly focus, what used to take you months, you'll do in days. What used to overwhelm you will feel effortless, and the peace you were begging others for. You'll find it in yourself. Bricks build in silence, return transformed. Let them doubt you. Let them misjudge your silence as weakness. Let them laugh at your absence, because one day you'll return, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. You'll walk in like a new person. Healed, clear, built, focused. And when they ask, where have you been?
You'll smile and say, I was working on me. No resentment. No revenge, and just results, unrecognizable results. So today, right now, give yourself the permission you've been waiting for. Permission to say no, permission to turn off the noise, permission to focus on yourself without guilt. You don't owe anyone your energy. You don't need approval to evolve. You don't need company to succeed. All you need is focus, the kind that turns pain into purpose, distraction into discipline, and dreams into results. Remember this, you were never too weak. You were just too scattered.
And now that you've found your focus, they won't know what hit them.
Because when a person locks in, truly locks in, they stop explaining, they stop begging, they stop waiting, and they start rising, in silence, with power, forever changed. Silence is your strategy, mastering the art of quiet growth. Let's get one thing straight, silence isn't weakness. Silence is your strategy. In a world addicted to noise, where everyone is trying to prove, perform, post, and preach, choosing silence might seem strange, but it's one of the most powerful, radical decisions you'll ever make. Why? Because when you go quiet, you go deep. When you go silent, you go within. And when you stop performing for the world, you start connecting with your truth. Tornado the noise is designed to distract you. We live in a culture that rewards noise. People are applauded for being the loudest, the most visible, the most reactive. You're taught that to matter, you must be seen, constantly. That if you're not posting your progress, it doesn't count. That if you're not clapping back, you're being weak. That silence equals losing, but that's a lie. And that lie keeps you trapped in a performance cycle that burns you out. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Let me be real with you. If you're always explaining yourself, you're not growing. You're defending. If you're always trying to be understood, you're still seeking validation. If you're constantly responding, you're reacting, not creating. Silence is how you take back your power. Locked silence creates space to heal. Most people are loud because they're uncomfortable with stillness. Stillness means you have to face the truth, and the truth isn't always pretty. But healing doesn't happen in the noise. Healing requires quiet. It requires space. It requires turning down the volume of the outside world so you can hear yourself. Silence isn't about avoidance, it's about awareness. It's sitting with your pain long enough to understand what it's trying to teach you. It's asking yourself hard questions and not rushing to answer them. It's choosing reflection over reaction. Silence is how you clean out the emotional clutter. Hammer silence is the workspace of transformation. Picture a construction site. When a building is being remodeled, they don't hang a sign that says, "Oh, look at us rebuild." They put up a wall. They block it off. Why? Because transformation isn't always beautiful in progress. It's messy, it's slow, it's sacred, and it deserves protection. Your life is no different. When you're truly growing, when you're rebuilding your mind, your habits, your soul, you need silence like a wound needs a bandage. Not because you're hiding, but because you're healing. Bricks build in private, emerge in power when you plant a seed. You don't dig it up every day to show the world it's growing. You water it. You protect it. You trust the process. Your goals are the same. You don't need to tell them you're coming. Just come back unrecognizable. Work on your body in silence. Build your business in silence. Fix your finances in silence. Break generational trauma in silence. And then one day when they see your results, they'll say, "You've changed." And you'll say, "Yes," quietly. Person male silence teaches you to listen to you hear something powerful. Most people can't hear themselves think because they're never quiet long enough. They're always reacting, always surrounded by noise, always waiting for someone to give them a direction. But silence changes that. It forces you to hear your own voice, your own intuition, your own wisdom, because deep down you already know who you need to walk away from. What habit is hurting you? What's not aligned anymore? What your next move should be? You just haven't been quiet enough to listen. Silence reconnects you to your own internal compass. And once that compass is back online, you stop asking for directions from people who've never been where you're going.
Brain silence destroys the need for validation. Let's be honest. A lot of noise we make is rooted in insecurity. We want people to see us grinding so they believe we're valuable. We want to prove we're changing because deep down, we're not sure we really are. We want others to validate our efforts because we're not yet ready to trust ourselves, but silence destroys that addiction. Because when you go quiet, you find out what you're really made of. You stop performing for attention and you start acting out of intention. You stop proving and you start becoming. And when you finally become someone who doesn't need approval, that's when the right people start showing up. Not because you demanded attention, but because you attracted alignment. Counterclockwise arrows button silence is a filter for what's real. Want to know who really loves you, who really respects you, who really believes in you. Go silent for a while. Stop texting first. Stop updating everyone. Stop being overly accessible and watch what happens. Most people are only there when you're loud, when you're giving, when you're performing. But the real ones, they notice your silence. They respect your boundaries. They don't demand your attention. They honor your energy. Silence filters your circle. It shows you who's real and who is just there for the show. Fire silence builds mystery and power. Let me tell you something most people will never say out loud. You don't owe the world your every move. There is power in being unpredictable, in moving in silence, in showing up without warning. Stop letting people study you. Stop giving your energy to people who haven't earned access to it. Stop announcing what you're about to do and just do it. Because when people don't know what's coming, they can't sabotage it, they can't copy it, they can't block it. They just have to sit back and watch the results unfold in awe. Prayer beads silence as spiritual alignment if you want to connect with God, the universe, your inner peace. Whatever you call it, silence is the path. Prayer is speaking, meditation is listening, and transformation is receiving. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to strive to be blessed. You just need to get quiet enough to hear what life is trying to show you. In that silence, everything becomes clearer. Your purpose, your pain, your patterns, your path. The noise was never your friend. The silence was. Person, female, daily silence practices. Here's how you make silence your strategy. Morning mindfulness. Start your day with 10 minutes of silence. No phone. No noise, just you, your breath, and your thoughts. No explanation. Boundaries. Start saying a no without justifying it. Your silence is enough. 1 hour airplane mode. Give your nervous system a break from constant noise every day. No screens, no conversations, just space. Silent walks, go outside and walk without headphones. Let your mind breathe. Let nature recalibrate you. Right, don't post journal your growth instead of broadcasting it. Not every breakthrough needs to be a status update. Silence isn't absence, it's presence. It's not the void, it's the voice inside the void. And when you choose to go quiet, when you stop chasing noise and start honoring your energy, you start becoming unshakable. Because now you're no longer running from yourself, you're walking with yourself, aligned, rooted, focused, and unstoppable. So let them wonder where you went. Let them question your distance. Let them assume. Because when the silence breaks, you'll come back with results. With clarity, with peace, with power. And they won't recognize the version of you that grew in the dark. Build a relationship with yourself. Become your own safe place, let's be honest. You've spent most of your life chasing relationships. Romantic ones, friendships, family approval, likes, followers, applause. You've been taught that connection equals completion.
That if someone sees you, loves you, chooses you, then you're enough. But the truth, until you build a relationship with yourself, every connection will feel like a performance. You'll keep giving pieces of yourself away just to feel whole. And every time someone leaves, you'll feel shattered.
When you celebrate yourself in private, you stop needing validation in public. Shield step 3. Protect your energy like it's sacred. Because it is every time you say yes to someone who drains you, you say no to yourself. And you can't build self-love on self-sacrifice. Protect your energy. Tilly.
Let me ask you, how much of your life have you lived for others? For approval? For survival? For applause? How many times have you left yourself behind just to be loved? And how much longer are you willing to live like that?
This is your permission slip to walk back into your own life, to reclaim your voice, to return to yourself. So say it out loud, even if it's just a whisper at first. I choose me. I choose my growth, even if it means walking alone. I choose my healing, even if it's uncomfortable.
This isn't about shocking the world. It's about awakening yourself. And when you do, yes, the world will be shocked, because they won't recognize the you that comes out of the fire. The you who walks with purpose, the you who glows from within.